going on, everybody? Sean Pierce Johnson here for this week's edition of Stompbox Saturday, and on the stomping block today is my new Pigtronix Echolution 2. Now, if you remember the Echolution 1 from a previous episode of Stompbox Saturday, you know my love and affinity for that pedal. It is probably one of the most awesome delays that I have ever had the pleasure of playing through. Well, the guys at Pigtronix certainly packed all the mojo and awesome, amazing, spacious, and just expressive sounds that you're able to get out of the first Echolution and put it to an even more flexible and even more mind-boggling pedal. Looking at the front face of the pedal, it's pretty intimidating. There's 6 knobs, there's 2, 4, 6, 8 buttons. It's got stereo inputs and outputs. It's got MIDI in, it's got MIDI out, it's got tap tempo. You can save up to 99 different presets, and it comes loaded with a bunch of awesome presets. I really can't quite put into words how you should really use this pedal. I can probably give you some guidelines, but I think the best way to show you just how you can use this pedal and what you can get out of it is by showing you some of the awesome sounds that I've been able to conjure up with this box. So let's dive right in and check out some of those sounds. Alright, now if you recognize this riff, you can probably guess what I'm going for with this sound. I kind of like to refer to this as my Echoplex sound or my Edward sound. And basically, here's what I do. Using the filter on the Echolution 2, I choose the tape option. What that does is it kind of shaves off some of the highs and can even get a little bit of the lows shaved off, not too much. You get kind of that nifty tape echo kind of filter on the repeats of the delay. And it's really awesome, really warm, sits within the mix really well. But the cool thing is the mix. When I play riffs, I more dial the mix back so that it sits underneath my playing a little better. And the repeats carry out. You don't hear them until I stop playing. They just kind of enhance the overall sound. But by dialing up the mix knob just a little bit more when I take a lead, then we start getting some of those singing lead tones. Still going there. Yeah, this is my Echoplex sound, and it's really easy to conjure up. It's really all in the filters, and the filters are one of the awesome features on the Echolution 2. And let's jump into another one of the sounds that I use the filter effect on. This is a bit of a strange one, isn't it? Well, I call it chaos, and basically it serves one purpose and one purpose only on my board: to create noise and cause chaos and throw my sound into all manner of disarray. And doing that again with the filter. There is a comb filter on this pedal, which is quite fun to experiment with. Basically, it takes the filter and just sort of sweeps it across the frequency spectrum, almost like taking a bandpass filter through an EQ on your computer in your DAW. It's a really interesting type of effect. Compound that even further by the fact that there is a bit crushing filter. So as the repeats die out, they start getting that bit crushing degradation in the signal to the point, well, you've got your repeats sounding like they're from a Nintendo game. very strange, almost has a Velcro kind of quality to it, but it's one of those things I needed at some point in time, and this is really the only delay pedal I've found that is capable of sounds like this. Whenever I load this sound up, I just can't help but play like the man, or at least play like him. I can't even really play like him. Well, who is the man? Well, the man is Mike Landau. And if you ever hear Mike Landau's playing, it's just so incredible, so beautiful, so emotive, tone out the wazoo. The guy has got touch and feel, things that we spend our whole lives working towards. This guy seems to have perfected. And I don't know what it is about this sound, but whenever I stumbled upon it, all I could think is, I just want to plug my Strat in through this and just play some of the most beautiful things that I can conjure up with my fingers and my mind. And, well, I think that I'm able to do so with this sound. Here's basically what I do. I use the tape filter again. I really seem to like this tape filter. It does a really nice job of emulating what a tape echo does. And then I put a little bit of modulation on there. It gives it a little bit of wow and flutter, kind of like a tape echo, but it also just kind of enhances what you're playing and what's coming out of the pedal. And then from there, it's all about just working it dynamically, using your guitar's volume knob, using the tone knobs, switching up pickups, just varying your touch. I'm not even using a pick right now, I'm just using my fingers. But even with a pick, it reacts really well. I also add a fair amount of repeats onto it. I feel like that also helps with fleshing it out. Another cool thing that I do with it is I use the multi-tap that is on the Echolution 2, it was also on the Echolution 1, and I put it on the 3/4. Kind of gives me a dotted eighth note rhythmic subdivision of what I have tapped in. And I find that that really works well for a lot of different tempos and a lot of different styles of playing, but at the end of the day, I mean, this thing is just, it's a beautiful sounding delay. Alright everybody, there was your look at the Echolution 2 by Pigtronix. This thing is definitely going on my board and is definitely going to be taking care of the bulk of my delay needs. And we've barely scratched the surface to what this thing can do. There's so much more that it has to offer. Expression pedal control of various parameters. There's a whole PC Mac application that we didn't even talk about. This thing is incredibly flexible, and it's even updatable by plugging it into your computer and downloading firmware. I mean, I could go on for days about this thing. But let me know what you guys thought. I'm thinking about crafting some sounds that I might be willing to share with you guys if you liked them. Just let me know in the comments section below, and stay tuned for next week's Stompbox Saturday. And until then, happy stomping. Cheers.